And I forgot to take that off the screen. Good Lord, I'm in a bad mood today. All right, there we go. And here I am. I am Bill. This is Late Night on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. Welcome to the show. It's been a very interesting day today. Went and had my ears lowered, as you can see, and been out and about. Took a nap this afternoon, slept a little too late. Wife had to go into work, got called in. She wasn't prepared to do that, but she went on anyway. And I came running down here to start preparing the show, and I'm still preparing it as we speak because I should have prepared it earlier today, but I wasn't here to do it. And then I went to sleep when I got back home. Isn't that bad? Bad, bad, bad. Naughty Bill. Let me bring in my co host real quick and we'll get started.
What's up, everybody? It's Joneser, your favorite comic book guy. So let's do this!
What's up, Joneser?
What is going on?
Man, you got
Having
your own
bad day, huh?
It's been well, relatively bad. Let's just say there could be a lot worse.
Let's say I bet I can talk.
I could be trying to give birth to a kidney stone.
Correct. Yeah, I apologize for missing last night. I was in bad way, freaking doped up, and just doing what I can to push my rock. But I did do my due diligence, and I got up at 3 a.m. I was in a lot of pain, so I stuck the live stream on. And as I was in and out of consciousness, it played in its entirety, and whatever other videos YouTube thought I should watch while I was asleep.
I've had that happen to me before. No worries, man. But I appreciate the views and the hours. My viewing hours are now over 3,800. My subscriber count is sitting at 727. I think is last when I looked at it. So I gained about 3 subscribers in the last 24 hours. Thank you so much.
Very cool.
I need more to get to 1,000. And I don't know if you knew this or not, but I had a guest on the show last night named Mr. Wonderful, and he is the creator of a brand new figure display system. It's a hexagonal system that's modular.
I saw the part where he showed it.
Now, here's the deal: if I get over 1,000, if and when I get over 1,000, he will give away that modular display system to one of my viewers. All you have to do is enter the contest. So we will have a contest to see who wins that, and also Rolo pledged that you will get a figure and comic pack from Resurrection Toys as well. Wow. So we'll be doing those giveaways once we get over 1,000. So stay tuned, folks. It could get very interesting around here.
Very cool.
And I have another guest here with me tonight that will join us, and that is the unmasked maniac, Johnny Sorensen. So let me bring him on into the chat here. What's going on, Johnny? What you reading there, bro?
It's just your favorite, some of that Gimp Batman. I know how much you love that.
All right, Gimp Batman.
Gotta get a bit of Gimp Batman on the weekend.
I actually think that's a good read, but I can't convince Bill of that.
Well, I like the whole metal saga thing.
Look, I'm not knocking the comic. The comic may be a good read, but I don't have any desire to have action figures based upon that.
Yeah, sure. Fair enough. There you go. There's something for you.
All right.
Just a bit of S&M on the weekend. Yeah.
Well, let me run to the chat real quick and let's see who all's here and what they're about tonight. Susudio came in early tonight, and she says that she hopes Verizon won't fail tonight like it did last night, and so she can enjoy the stream. And I came in and I said, please consider sending me a tip on Streamlabs, and I put the link there and pinned that comment to the top. So If anybody wants to send a tip tonight, I would appreciate that. And there's the link to do it. And depending upon how things go, we might be able to get Susudio in towards the end of the show.
Cool.
And here you are, Johnny, getting freaky and geeky and weird. All right, man.
Nice.
Shambalogs. And Susudio says hello. And Bjorn says that he has a clarification about Fat Jesus. Speaking of Fat Jesus, let me pull something up real quick because Johnny, you went way and above anything today, and you did a special Fat Jesus picture. Let me see if I can find where I put that.
Yeah, it was after that stream the other night. I just had the idea and I thought I'll put it down.
Where did absolutely, man. But the problem is I'm stupid and can't figure out where I saved it to. So hold on just a second here while I try to find that. I think I put it.
I got that problem all the time.
I did.
Should be. And you email otherwise.
Yeah, I have a hard time
download it again.
Instagram was off of it. I'll share it with you because this is worth looking at here. Window. And let's pull us over here to the side and do this and bring this into the stream here. What we have here is we have, I'm going to put us over to the side, off the side of that. Let's get the whole thing on the screen. There we go. Now we can see everything. Get this off the screen. What we have here is we have a piece of artwork by our very own dear Johnny Sorensen. Who went way in above here. Bjorn presents the twisted tales of the toy store. There is a fifth dimension beyond that is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition. It lies between the pit of men's fears and the summit of his knowledge. It is the dimension of imagination. It is an area that we call the Fat Jesus Zone. Submitted for your approval. Consider, if you will, a man, part blubber, part saint, the Fat Jesus. Rather than working with his hands as a carpenter, he toils in a toy store and indulges in his proclivities for furries. And down here at the right now, he goes, so furry right now. Somebody just gave me a tip. Thank you, Susudio. Thank you. I appreciate the tips, baby. I appreciate the tip. So there we have the tales of Fat Jesus. So there.
I gotta say, my
was
kids are giggling at the Fat Jesus right now.
That I don't know where you get these ideas from, my man, but you
Oh, it's from your stream and Bjorn's story.
So Bjorn says, no, apparently he is not a furry. He is a brony, though. Look, man, don't spoil your story. Your story was fine the way it was. Let
fix that in post.
Well, it makes the story more interesting. Nothing like exaggeration, expanded story. Exactly, man. Johnny said it best right there.
Aren't all the best stories
today?
Created a little bit.
Hey, Jennifer. Just stopped in to say hi for a moment. Hope you have a good night and thank you for the prayers and thoughts. Yes, very much so. As I told Anthony privately, we need to pray for Sir Clifton and his family. They're having some issues right now. I'll leave it at that. It's their issues to deal with and not mine to air. So there it is. And Rolando Flores is here. Good to see you, Rolando. Good to see you. And moving on down, Deborah Poe is also in the house. Hello there. And if Mr. Benny comes in, tell him thank you so much for becoming a Patreon of mine. He is now in the end credits with everyone else. So I took care of that on the night that he actually joined. So thank you so much. And this show is supported strictly on tips and Patreon. I am not monetized. I'm on the road to monetization. And even after I get monetized, 90% of my live streams and most of my videos will probably not be able to be monetized because of copyright issues with different songs and clips that I like to show. So I'm going to be dependent mainly upon the tips and Patreon money to keep the show afloat.
Sure.
So Duffman's Diorama, it's good to see you. What's going on here? You just wait and see, man, because so many of us have fallen to being to the trickery of the con man. I've got the perfect video to keep us from falling into those traps and becoming what they call a sucker. And Eldor's here.
They called it a mark.
Yeah, be a mark. That's right. The mark of a sucker. You know where the word, you know how the term mark came about, Joneser?
I do, but I'd love to hear you explain it.
Well, it all happened in the carnival days. Really, the carnival is where this started. So if someone was very susceptible to the carny games or whatever, pretty much a sucker. A chalk mark might be placed upon their back. Usually, the carny would take the chalk dust and put it on his hand and pat the guy on his back, and he would walk around with this chalk handprint on his back, and all of the other carnival game booths would know that this guy here was good to get some money from. So they would lure him in and take him for what he had. So by the time he left, he normally had empty pockets, and his girlfriend probably didn't have a big teddy bear either.
But he threw a lot of darts at balloons. You're one more away, buddy. Another $5. You're almost there.
Yeah. Here, try this rifle.
Right.
And of course, it's got the bent sights on the front of it. And Eldor's here. What is that custom head sculpt, Johnny? You know you can talk in here. You can.
I was busy looking on Instagram at the picture you posted while you guys were talking. That's why I asked.
Oh my goodness! I'm doing my own custom myself.
That's awesome.
There. All right, so
somebody let that Rolo guy in here. How the hell did he get in? What's going on? He's going to cause some trouble now.
He can come over here if he wants to.
Love to see Rolo.
He's the best.
For Streamlabs, I'll put a missing thing. No, you didn't miss a darn thing. We're just sitting here blabbing our mouths and saying hello to everybody.
Hey, speaking of blabbing, how's my audio? Do I sound better?
You sound a lot better. A lot of the echo that was in your voice from the mic on the phone and having to talk into that is going away. So it's a lot better.
It's a good $15 spent there.
Not bad. Mr. Poe is in the room and he says, "Thank you for the entertainment bill. Somebody's got to put money in the hat. Thank you." And I appreciate that. And Masters Maniac Mexico, our very own Rolo, is here. I don't know that if Rolo's a sucker or not, but we're gonna learn not to be it. And some of the, I guess, tricks of the trade there.
Maybe he'll join in later.
I would hope so. I mean, he knows where the link is. I hope.
Yeah.
If not, I'll have to DM him directly like I did last night. And that kind of takes care of that. Oh, Joneser, what is it? Blood pressure?
Actually, that's high too. It's kidney stone, my friend.
I would think the pain of that would elevate one's blood pressure, if nothing else.
I was in the ER Friday morning. I woke up out of a dead sleep, 3 a.m. Something was wrong. We knew something was wrong. By 5 or 6 a.m., the wife convinced me I wasn't going to work. We're going to the ER, which I was still going to work no matter what. But
right.
Yeah, I'm going to the ER. We don't know what's wrong, but I suspect because I've had this before. And sure enough, 9mm stone just passed through the kidney and it's into the ureter and it's working its way out. Then I get a call from urology yesterday, and they tell me they think the stone is too large and that I'm not going to pass it. So I'm most likely getting surgery Tuesday.
Now, is that where they take the sonic beam and they shoot it into your bladder or whatever and crush this thing into little bitty tiny?
Yes, that's option B, which I hope we go with. Option A is they have a little stick with a grabber on it, and they go right up where you don't want it to go, and they go right in there and get that son of a gun. And
I like the Flash Gordon option, not the Dalek option.
Right. Hoping we don't go with that one.
Ooh. All right.
It'll be situational. It'll depend on where it is, and it's their call. I'm hoping. I've been drinking lots of fluids. They said lemonade or water, and I'm doing
cranberry juice.
Yeah, I can't do cranberries because I'm allergic.
So. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, anyway, anything that's got a diuretic in it will help as well.
So yeah, so if I have to run off, it's because I'm peeing.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the information, bro.
That's how it rolls here late night.
Yeah. Well, let's move on down. Let's see if anybody else has showed up. I think that's about it. No worries. Did that a million times. Just try to hold on to the thought of being a virgin. Worked 5 weeks into having the shingles, so he knows what pain is.
Yeah, that ain't no fun.
I haven't had the shingles. And I never had the chicken pox when I was a kid. You know how I know I never had the chicken pox when I was a kid? Think about that for a minute there, Joneser. Why would a grown man find out after he's grown that he never had the chicken pox as a child?
Because you got it as an adult.
I got it as an adult because my daughter came home with the freaking chicken pox when she was little from school.
Yeah.
And dear old dad,
I'll kill you.
Yeah, dear old dad caught it. And then when you get the chicken pox, when you grown, it ain't no picnic, Jack. I laid there in the bed and begged my wife to bring the 9mm in there and put me out of my misery, and she refused.
Right. Probably
a good thing.
Well, yeah, pain is temporary and glory is forever. You live.
And Deborah has got some prayers going out there for you, sir.
Well, thank you, everybody.
And Susudio says that was way too much information.
I apologize for that.
And I had to sleep twisted on my side on the couch as I could not lie down on the bed and holding a hot water bottle at my side 24/7 to numb the pain. Jesus.
That was me last night.
Wow. Okay, well, let's move on to something more fun. Tell you what, I've spent a great deal of time producing this show today, and I'm still trying to actually upload it up here, and that's causing me some consternation here. So I may have to switch things around, and we may have to learn how not to be a sucker before we have wrestling tonight. So we'll.
Oh man.
Yeah, we may have to switch things up. So let's see. But right now,
sucker, get the front seats, not the back seats.
Right. Right now, I want to take a commercial break. I did get some more commercials to add to the repertoire here. So let's take a little break. Maybe Joneser can go grab him something else to drink or something and go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back, folks.
This Christmas party is getting a little too quiet. I think it's time we liven it up with my favorite Christmas gift, Mr. Microphone.
Hey, what's that?
Well, you set the dial on your FM radio and testing.
Hey, I'm on the radio.
These kids are having a fabulous time with Mr. Microphone, the cordless microphone that actually puts your voice on the radio. There are no attaching wires, so you're free to move around. Broadcast over any FM car radio.
Hey, good looking. We'll be back to pick you up later. You can broadcast in mono or with 2 or more radios in stereo. Yeah.
Professional entertainers use Mr. Microphone for rehearsing. It's practical and great fun for the whole family.
To order, call 1-800-257-1234. In New Jersey, call 800-232-6966. Or to avoid COD charges, send $14.88 to Mr. Microphone, P.O. Box 7500, Atlanta, Georgia, 30357.
Pay attention, please, thank you. It's next day there. Very nice. It's next evening there. Very nice.
Having no choice is no fun. That's why at Wendy's, every hamburger isn't dressed the same. You'll get your choice of fresh toppings, fresh tomatoes, fresh lettuce, fresh onions, cheese, bacon, and more. Having a choice is better than not.
It's next swim there.
Choose fresh. Choose Wendy's.
Star Wars. You and your children loved it. Now, the Earthlings at Kenner have asked my associate and me to present the Star Wars collection. Truly remarkable toys and games for your children. What are you so excited about now? My goodness, the Star Wars TIE Fighter and X-Wing fighter. Now your children can relive our great space battles or collect our wonderful Star Wars companions with Kenner's Star Wars action figures. R2, it's a little you. Kenner's new radio-controlled R2-D2 anyone can command. Ah, the Star Wars land speeder that moves like it's floating. And here's Kenner's Death Star space station, 4 floors of action. A trash compactor, too. Listen, R2. That's the Star Wars electronic laser battle, a game of speed, reflex, and reaction. These and other toys and games in Kenner's Star Wars collection are sold separately. Batteries are not included. May the Force be with you and your children.
I can't believe I ate that whole thing.
You ate it, Ralph.
I can't believe I ate that whole thing.
No, Ralph, I ate it.
I can't believe I ate that whole thing.
Take 2 Alka-Seltzer.
Alka-Seltzer neutralizes all the acid your stomach has churned out. For your upset stomach and headache, take Alka-Seltzer and feel better fast.
Did you drink your Alka-Seltzer?
The whole thing.
The taste of French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence. There's a California champagne by Paul Masson, inspired by that same French excellence. It's fermented in the bottle, and like the best French champagne, it's vintage dated. Paul Masson's superb taste shouldn't be too surprising. This champagne doesn't come from France, but it was created by a man who did, Paul Masson. Paul Masson will sell no wine before it's time.
WMC-TV, Channel 5, Memphis.
And we're back. And I decided to show that last commercial so you could see what the actual commercial that they cut together out of all that crap looked like. If you noticed, it was highly edited. And yes, Orson needed that money really, really bad back then. And he also needed that bottle too. Yes. While we were in the commercial break, Rolando Flores said, "Smoke them if you got them," and I'm doing that right now, Rolando. 50 Shades of Pain. I think that was in response to Susudio, who had the shingles that lasted her 6 months. God almighty, shingles must be awful. Orson Welles should know a lot about wine. I think he does know quite a bit about wine. Absolutely. Let's see what else I got here for us today. While I took the commercial break, I took a which throw back in. I'm spinning out again. Spinning out. I'm remuxing a video. And, yeah, well, let me bring you up and let you solo that and show what you got. Oh, the sorceress.
Yeah, this is really nice. Got the little layers on the cape thingy.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And you can put the catcher. She's got little elbow arm things to hook that on, but I think you got to kind of take their head off to get it on properly. So I'm going to heat that up because it doesn't want to come off too easy.
Be careful.
I got something for later on if people decide they want to see it, and a lot of different views about this guy out in the world about who likes him and who doesn't like him.
Hulk Hogan, you put him in the garbage can.
Well, not only that, but later on, if people encourage it, he might get slimed.
Oh. Well, maybe an incentive needs to be made for that. Maybe the if I get another tip tonight, maybe we'll get to see Hulk Hogan get slimed. How about that?
That could work.
And the Majestic One said goodnight to everyone because he had to take off. I guess he's got to work tomorrow or he's got things to do. So we will see you next time, Bjorn. And it was good having you here for the little bit of time that you were here. And let's see what Rolo's got to say here. Majestic One, I did a religious mural for Fat Jesus, and I've already started putting up candles.
Yeah, he posted another image in the weird chat on Instagram.
I'll have to take a look at that and see.
I'll grab it and I'll email it to you so you can download.
All right, sounds good to me, man. Sounds good to me. Let me get back over here where I was. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, shingles lasted for 6 months. I had it in my upper left thigh and groin area. Eek. There was a lady that I worked with years ago. She had it, and one of them got in one of her eyes. How that occurs, I do not know, but that sounds awful to me.
I've never had the shingles, but there's some coworkers that have had it, and yeah, that don't look fun.
Supposedly there's a vaccine for that now that old folks like us can take to keep from having those occur. I guess I'm over the age that you need to be to take it, but I'm reluctant to take any kind of vaccines these days. Not that I'm any kind of conspiracy theorist or anything. And I got my coffee going, and I'm sitting here looking at this, and it says 5 minutes remotes. Are you familiar with the Moondogs, Jones? Or
is this the Vachons or?
Rex and Spot were the two Moondogs that I was aware of. I don't know what their real names were. I haven't looked into that right now. I just remember them being huge monsters.
Which organization do you want to remind
me?
Well,
they've been around. They weren't just in Memphis. They've been in other wrestling organizations, and I think they actually wrestled in the WWE or whatever the hell it was called at that time as well. Johnny, have you heard of the Moondogs?
What dogs? Moondogs? No.
Yeah, never heard of the Moondogs. All right, my recollection of the Moondogs, of course, it's spotty and hazy, but I remember them very, very distinctly. Jimmy Hart brought them in as huge monsters to destroy the Fabulous Ones after the Sheepherders failed to do so. So when the Sheepherders went away and the blow off to that happened, the Fabulous Ones needed another villain to conquer. And the Moondogs were brought in, and they looked like they crawled out of the swamp. They wore rags.
Look at it. Google images. Beards are there.
Yeah, the long, shaggy beards.
It's like Captain Caveman.
Raggedy pants, and they would come lumbering out to the ring, and each one of them had a huge ham bone in their hand, great big old.
I'm looking at the picture.
And they would gnaw on it and all that kind of stuff, and then and they would attack people with it and bust them wide open and all that. The vaccine didn't stop mine. I had shingles oh my God, 4 different times. Gee whiz. All right. So back to what I was talking about. Yeah, they would come out. They would be gnawing on these bones. They would use them as weapons, bust people open. And I've got a little video vignette of them, and it's going to take a minute for it to finish releasing. And when it does, I'm going to upload that, and we'll watch it together. But these guys were awful. Let me pull up something on the internet here, and give you an idea of who they were. Wrestling Moondogs. I'll just pull up the Wikipedia here and read it off. The Moondogs were a professional wrestling stable in the World Wrestling Federation and in 2 Memphis promotions, the Continental Wrestling Association and in the United States Wrestling Association. That would be the USWA. After the Continental Wrestling Association folded, Lawler created his own version of it called the USWA. They were known for wrestling in frayed blue jeans, sporting shaggy blonde hair and beards, and carrying animal bones around with them, which they chewed and used as weapons. The name Moondogs originated with the American musician Louis T. Hardin, who used the nickname from the 1940s in his instrumental song, The Moondogs Serenade, inspired by the DJ Alan Freed, to use the Moondog moniker in the 50s until legal action from Hardin resulted in judgment in Hardin's favor. Okay, that's where the name came from. The Moondog gimmick in wrestling was born in 1973, so it's a lot earlier than I thought it was, with Louis Maine, Lonnie Maine becoming Moondog Maine in the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. He continued using the gimmick in Portland, Texas, California, and Georgia. He passed away in 1978 after being struck down by a car. In 1980, Moondog Hawkins wrestled in the WWF, in which the gimmick was short-lived. Hawkins went on to become Moondog Rex. In the World Wrestling Federation from 1980 to 1987. See, I did not know this part. Moondog Rex and Moondog King joined the World Wrestling Federation in October 1980, where they defeated Rick Martel and Tony Garea for the WWF Tag Team Champion. Yes, go ahead.
It's Tony Garea.
Tony Garea. Thank you, sir. For the WWF Tag Team Championship. After winning the title, Moondog King was replaced by Moondog Spot. Now, see, I remember it being Rex and Spot. After King, a Canadian, was denied entry into the United States in 1981. A Rex and Spot's gimmick consisted of them carrying chewed up bones to the ring and wearing cut off blue jeans. While in the WWF, the Moondogs feuded with Tony Garea, Joneser,
Garea. That's how I remember it.
You're right, and I'm wrong because I don't even know who he is, and that's sad. Okay, Bob Backlund, Ivan Putski, and Pat Patterson, and the Wild Samoans. And in 1984, on an episode of Maple Leaf Wrestling, Moondog Rex earned a WWF Championship title spot against Hulk Hogan. In 1987, Rex was repackaged as Smash of Demolition along with Axe. However,
Yeah. Now I know who he
Just
is.
saw a figure of that guy.
Okay. However, fans easily recognized him and gave chants of Moondog, leading to him being quickly replaced by Barry Darsal. Rex and Spot then teamed together until 1990 in various promotions. And they also, we'll talk about from 1983 to 1986, they wrestled in the Continental Wrestling Association in Memphis, the USWA in Memphis, and also in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, which was Jim Cornette's wrestling association. The Moondogs had 2 runs in Memphis. Their first run took place in the Continental Wrestling Association in 1983, where they were managed by Jimmy Hart and feuded with the Fabulous Ones. And that's what I remember the most right there. They captured the AWA Southern Tag Team Championships from the Fabs on February 4th, 1983, and lost it back to them in April 25th in a no disqualification match. The feud continued throughout 1983 and ended when the Moondogs lost a loser leave town match to the Fabs on January the 16th of 1984. Now, I remember that feud quite well, and like I said, it went on for a good year. In October of 1987, the Moondogs wrestled for All Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, that would be Moondog Spike and Moondog Spot, facing opponents such as Jumbo Saruta, the Mighty Inua, Haruka Elgin, and Tiger Mask 2. In late 1991, the Moondogs returned, this time managed by Richard Lee. Now, I'm going to take a quick stop to that and get our little video uploading because it just got through remuxing. And let's see if I remuxed it down small enough. Hopefully I did. All right, let's see what happens. Yay! To do that, and I'll continue presenting this. In 1991, the Moondogs returned, managed by Richard Lee. Spot and Spike captured the USWA Tag Team Championships on November the 30th, 1991. In early 1992, the Moondogs gained a new ally, the Big Black Dog, whom they would later feud with. Moondog Cujo was added to the group in 1992, teaming with both Spot and Spike separately. The new Moondogs of Spot and Cujo captured the USWA Tag Team Championships and traded the title with Jeff Jarrett and Jerry Lawler throughout 1992. During October of 92, the Moondogs gained another ally in Moondog Fifi, who won the USWA Women's Championship from Miss Texas. Now, if you don't know who Miss Texas is, that would be Jacqueline, if you remember Jacqueline. She wrestled in Memphis as Miss Texas. And if you've heard any of Brian Christopher's shoot interviews, he had a lot to say about what she was up to there. I hear you laughing over there, Jones. You know what I'm talking about.
I do.
The feud between Jarrett and Lawler and the Moondogs was voted the 1992 PWI Feud of the Year by Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Cujo left the group in 1992. On December the 28th, the Moondogs lost the title to the Harris brothers, managed by Bert Prentice and Mike Samples. The team traded the belts back and forth until the Moondogs captured them for the last time on February the 22nd, 1993. The feud ended in 1993 when the Harris brothers beat the Moondogs in a manager's hair versus hair match with Samples' hair versus Lee's hair on the line. On January the 30th, 1993, the Moondogs gained another ally in Moondog Splat, who replaced Spike. On January the 8th, 1993, Brian Christopher teamed with the Big Black Dog to defeat the Moondogs for the tag team title. The Moondogs won it back the next week. Moondog, Cujo, and Spike replaced Spot and Splat in July of 1993. August 93 saw the Moondogs meet their noteworthy rivals, the Dog Catchers, who played off the Moondogs' name. The teams feuded throughout August and September of 93. And from November of 93 to 94, the team appeared in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, feuding again with the Harris brothers, the Rock and Roll Express. Spike and Lee also appeared on Wings 93 Most Dangerous Tag Team Tournament, finishing with 0 points. 1994 saw the tag team change again with Spot and a new Moondog Rex taking up the Moondog name until Moondog Rover replaced Rex in 1996 before the team disbanded. In the latter part of 2003, the Moondogs, Spot and Puppy Love began working in Memphis wrestling, with April Pennington acting as their manager. On November of 2003, Moondog Spot died in the ring during a battle royal in Memphis. I remember that. And Moondog Cujo appeared at the Clash of the Legends show in Memphis, April 29, 2007, where he defeated the Barbarian. So that kind of brings us to now. The Moondogs were a team that I remember very distinctly. I don't know how well that I've been able to stay on here because I see my connection dipping in and out here as I'm uploading this little bit here. Let me run
you're
over
going
here.
fine. I'm watching in the other window.
Okay. Let me run over here to the chat and see what folks are saying. Still talking about the shingles. Moving on down past that. Let's see. Christian Omberg is here. Good to see you, sir. Hi, Bill, and hello, Rolo. And they're going to speak German to each other, probably. Yes, absolutely going to speak German to each other. So, he says, it says, nice to see you. It's a dear friend of mine. Yes, and more German being spoken here. Okay, well, the Germans are saying hello to each other and talking in things that I don't understand, and which is fine with me. We'll let them do their bit there. And let's see how the upload is going. Almost done. As soon as this finishes processing, we will play, and it shouldn't take very long. We will play this little vignette. Two spots. First is the first video. This was when they first debuted in Memphis wrestling. Memphis wrestling, especially under Jerry Jarrett, Jeff's dad, was very famous for starting the idea of wrestlers having music videos with them featured in it, and having entrance music from those music videos. So they did a music video of the Moondogs, and I'm going to show that, and I'm also going to show something that happened in studio wrestling there at Channel 5 one Saturday when superstar Bill Dundee confronted the Moondogs confronted him. And what was very interesting about Memphis at that time, they had no qualms at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning showing color on TV. And and speaking of showing color, so you know that since I said that means the Moondogs are going to bust Bill Dundee wide open. When they do, watch his hands. That's all I got to say. Just watch Bill Dundee's hands. And when we come back from this, tell me what you saw. That goes for both of you guys and chat too. Here we go. The Moondogs.
children are the madness in your eyes. And they'll scare the life out of you, or the howl that turn your blood to ice. Lord, you better watch out for the Moondogs, or you'll meet your maker. I love the Moondogs, the having the Moondogs, the having the Moondogs, the vicious and mean. Now the Moondogs are looking for trouble, and you can hear it in their scream. So stay out of the swamps of the full moon, shining big and bright. And you might run into a Moondog and meet your maker. I love you might run into a Moondog and meet your maker tonight.
Okay, in just a moment, we're going to be back in the ring with the action of the big Russian invader going against Robert Reed. Coming out now, we're delighted to have the superstar. Billy.
How you doing, sir?
Oh, my God. No, he is. Jerry Lawler is not
the
here.
king in here today. He's
just
coming
got
to death.
you saying it.
Well, let me tell you something. No, let me tell you something, and Lawler, baby. You know, y'all are making a lot of accusations. I can't even talk today, man. I'm so excited about seeing you out here, Billy Dundee, and the king ain't here. How convenient, huh? Let me tell you something, baby. You know, y'all talk about 2-on-1. You talk about 2-on-1. Well, let me tell you what, baby. You're so big and bad, there ain't no one man that can whip 2-on-man, so we might as well start living up to our reputation. Oh, get out of here. Get him, boys. Come on, I don't want to hear this.
Come on,
Let's
Jimmy,
see how tough you are now, Dundee.
Yeah.
Come on, you want 2-on-1? Well, you got 2-on-1. Cut him off, Moondog. Cut him off. Come on the door.
Typical family.
Cut him off.
Tactic.
Cut him off. Well, we might as well live up to our reputation,
You got
right?
the reputation.
Cut him off. Cut him off.
I'll tell you that.
Cut him off. Get him. You've got him now. Get him. Come on. Come on, get him.
Dundee not backing up a step. He goes roaring after the Moondogs.
No one man can beat two good men, baby.
They got the bones.
Bust him open. I want to make sure he don't show up anywhere, baby.
Yeah.
Work on him. Work on him. Work on him, baby.
Let's see if we can get some help out here and get these Moondogs out of there.
You don't need help, baby. He's the superstar. He doesn't need any help. Look at him right there. Beautiful. Beautiful. There you go. Come on, call her the whip now, people. Call me a whip now. Don't you point at me, you big fat slob over in the audience over
You're
there.
not doing anything, Jimmy. The Moondogs up there with two on them.
Beautiful.
They got bones in their
Our
hands.
reputation,
Yeah,
baby.
I
You
know.
said we had a reputation,
Oh, you got it
right?
all
Lauren
right.
said, everybody says that, well, then we might as well live up to it. Beautiful, Moondogs. Beautiful. That's right. That's right, man. Look, he doesn't look like a superstar now, does he?
Can we get some help out here and get...
Look at him. Look at him. Look at him, baby. Superstar.
In case you just joined us, the Moondogs, both of them jumped Bill Dundee. They got the bones. They got everything else in there.
Come on, Moondogs. Put it to him, baby. I want to make sure he doesn't go anywhere anymore, man. Beautiful. That's right. Throw him out of the
Must
ring.
be because you're afraid of it when they're even odds with two
Hey, you
on
don't hear
two.
us out here crying or complaining, baby, do you? You never hear sitting out here crying or complaining. Come on, baby. The more they call me wimp, the more things like this are going to happen.
Yeah.
Come on, baby.
Jimmy, just get your Moondogs and
Watch
get
him.
out.
Come on, get him. Watch him. Watch him. He's got a chair. Watch him. Watch him.
Well, Dundee evened things up a little bit when he jumped in there with that chair, but now the Moondogs back at it again with those bones. Going after one man, Bill Dundee. Here comes the Rock and Roll Express.
There's your superstar, baby. Now look how many they got in the ring. 6 guys against 3, huh?
See you guys running, too. Rock and Roll Express and Rick Gibson come in to even things up.
Let me tell you something, Hart. Jimmy Hart, you ain't a man. You ain't nothing, punk. Jackie Fargo said it once. You stink, Hart. You stink. And everything about you stinks, Hart. Well, let me tell you something. You and them two lousy Moondogs, they don't mean to nothing. Because if me and Johnny Lawler beat on one of them, he wouldn't be standing here. Now, I'm going to tell you something. When we get you and them two stinking Moondogs in the ring this week, we're going to tear your clothes off hot. Then we're going to peel every piece of skin off your body, brother. Then we're going to beat your damn brains out.
The announcers on this program are selected and paid by parties other than this station, namely the promoters of Championship Wrestling.
That music's great there. And for some reason, I want to chase like a guy across the building top, Dirty Harry style, when I hear that.
Now, when superstar Bill Dundee was getting his ass whooped with that bone in the ring and getting busted wide open, did you see his hand?
I'll be honest with you, I missed it. I had to do it.
I saw you had to cut out there for a minute. Johnny, were you paying attention to Superstar?
I've paid attention, but what happened specifically with the hand?
All right. Well, in order to show that color on TV, he had to blade his head right across the top of his forehead so that the bone would show some color. And I didn't catch him blading his head, but I did catch him very, very obviously ditching that blade into his pocket. You'll have to watch the video replay later. I may put this on the Patreon so you Patreons can rewatch it later as well. But he very obviously, I mean, he's sitting there stuffing his hand in his pocket as he's falling over. It's hilarious.
So Sergio's onto it.
Yeah. So what did Dundee keep putting his hand in out? He said he's getting his blade out and then putting it back up. That's what that was about.
Itching powder.
Itching powder.
He got pied by a hit. The old wrestling is the best, the coolest thing in the world. I love it so much. Yeah, and like I said, they didn't have any qualms about showing color on Saturday morning for us kids at 11 a.m., man. Could you imagine that happening today, Joneser?
No. Actually, I have a really crystal clear memory as a kid, and I probably couldn't have been much more than 5 or 6 years old. My sister was probably 3 or 4, and we're watching some wrestling promotion. And I just remember the guy having like spikes on his shoes or nails on his feet or something. And he's kicking the guy and he's bleeding. And my sister was just eating it up, crying, he's hurting him. He's hurting him. And my mom like, maybe we should watch something else. So I'm like, man,
oh no, don't run it.
I'm watching this.
Yeah, absolutely. Saturday morning, we couldn't wait. And I don't know if you guys did this or not, Joneser. Did you have any brothers?
No, it was just me and my little sister.
Well, little sisters got it too. I can remember me and my brother Anthony. I would be over at his house, and he had 2 little sisters. And when wrestling came on, we started wrestling in the living room floor. I mean, pile drivers, suplexes, jumping off the couch. And sometimes if his sisters were in there, they generally became the jobbers.
I put my cousin in the sharpshooter, so I do remember that.
I remember trying to do the figure 4 leg lock one time.
Yeah, I remember he was smaller than me and younger than me and perfect victim. And irritated me, so I tackled him to the floor and put him in the sharpshooter. And he's yelling, it's fake, as I'm trying to pull it harder, make it hurt.
Yeah, well, sometimes wrestling would go on for 90 minutes. So if it started at 11 o'clock and it would end at 12:30. So it'd be 90 minutes of studio wrestling going on. By the time the studio wrestling went off, the living room was very hazy and filled with humidity, and it smelled like a locker room in there. and there were the pillows from the couch were all over the floor. So yeah, we
Hey,
we have.
Phil. So the Saturday morning wrestling, did they play like a full show, or was it like the highlights of that week's other
No,
shows?
it was a full.
No,
It was a
full show.
full live show with the
We didn't see
studio
nothing of that in
audience.
New Zealand, Australia, so I don't know. I know they had like WWF highlight ones for a
Yeah,
Saturday morning, but I don't know what
they
else they
they
had.
they would show occasionally a few highlights from the Monday before show at the Mid South Coliseum.
Yeah.
Like you saw last night when I showed the first appearance of heel Vince McMahon on. It actually happened on USWA Wrestling many years before he ever did that gimmick in the WWF. But yeah, they mainly did a live studio wrestling show, and that was the catch. And sometimes the title would change hands right there live in the studio. I remember Terry Taylor one time. He won an AWA belt that wasn't a Southern belt, which the Southern titles were Memphis only titles, but he won like a one of the big titles. I want to say it was like a cruiserweight kind of title, but they probably called it a junior weight title. But anyway, that was his excuse to leave and go up to the big guys at WWF. And so he supposedly left to go on tour and wrestle and defend that belt. And that was the little deal that they did to get him to move on up. So, but it was quite exciting, and you could send a stamped self-addressed envelope to Channel 5 with to Studio Wrestling, and they would send you free tickets, and you could go into the studio and watch the wrestling. And that's why you always see the screaming crowds there inside the studio. And it was a small crowd, maybe 3 rows deep, and all the way around 2 sides of the ring, so the cameras could show them. But they were louder sometimes than a lot of crowds that you see at these small indie shows now, right there in the studio.
Nice.
Let's see, catching up on chat. Susudio's going to get her some coffee. Masters Maniac says, no way that happens today. Hail the 70s and 80s. Hail freedom. Absolutely. Take me down to Suplex City where the jobbers are green and the fans are shitty. Oh, won't you please? Won't you please take me home? All right. And what we got here? Got me some Terry Funk material shirt on the way to put on a figure that says Funk You. I can't wait to see that when you get it, Johnny.
Yeah, I'll do some good photos when I get there.
And OBS says she remembers the wrestling at night, like 9 or 10. I remember when WWF started doing the Saturday night wrestling the show that would come on late night on NBC.
Was that main event or something else?
Main event. I think that's what it was. And that was my first taste of WWF.
They had that branding, Saturday Night Main Event, and then they also had Tuesday Night Titans, where they were doing the Letterman Conan style talk show with the wrestlers in it.
Yeah, I never saw that, but I remember staying up late on Saturday night so I could watch Saturday Night Main Event wrestling on NBC television. And that, like I said, that was my first foray into the WWF. And if I'm not mistaken, that was right about the time the Rock-In wrestling was big in WWF, and they even did the Saturday morning cartoon show with Hulk Hogan and
Rock. Yeah. I think they used to play that in a block, didn't they? It was like a short with other cartoons in it.
I think we lost Joneser there. He might have had to go, and
he'll come back. He'll come back.
I'm hoping so. I think he had to go and he'll
take care of business.
Yeah, he got to go take care of some business there. So our heart goes out to you there, Joneser. You take care, brother, and we hope to see you before the night's over with. But if not, don't worry.
Like a good Schwarzenegger film, he'll be back.
Yeah, he will be back. This too shall pass. I would babysit for a couple. The guy was into the wrestling, and he would tell him what happened when he would drive me home. Okay. I jumped in the morning in the whole house when wrestling came on and on the TV, and my brother became hit on the hat like the Undertaker. Okay. Terry Funk is Mr. Poe's favorite wrestler of all time.
It's great. Actually, there was if you guys like podcasts, check out the Ric Flair YouTube channel. Terry Funk was on it in the last fortnight, telling the story about his career and Ric Flair and how he broke his nose and all the shit. It's so good, and they're like two brothers that just love each other, but they're absolutely ripping the shit out of each other at the same time. It's really good.
Absolutely, man. And OBS says Saturday mornings were like cartoons with kung fu movies and Godzilla movies that her and Dad would watch in the afternoon. Now, when the cartoons were over and the wrestling started, and I think that in the Memphis NBC affiliate there were still some cartoons being shown across the nation, but not in Memphis because wrestling took over at 11 o'clock.
I was wondering about that when you say Saturday morning. I mean, I know they do. It's the block, and they
I
do.
got
But,
another donation from
donation
in Mexico. So apparently we're going to have to slime Hogan before this night is over with. There, Johnny. Yep, we got the slime ready. We got Hogan in the garbage can. So we'll get that done there, Rolo, here in a second.
And that's proper slime. I'm not doing it now, but just that's proper slime.
It's proper slime. Absolutely. So, when the wrestling was over with at 12:30, that's when the afternoon movies would start, and it was the
lunchtime.
Man, sometimes we would have Lone Ranger movies, and what those were, they would take two of the color Clayton Moore Lone Ranger TV shows and put them together into a movie. Or we would have Hopalong Cassidy. I don't know if you know who he is, but he was a cowboy. And if it wasn't cowboys, they would sometimes have a sci-fi, old 50s sci-fi movie or a Godzilla movie, and stuff like that. The afternoon movies. My main ones that I like to watch were the Johnny Weissmuller Tarzan movies. They love to show those on Saturday afternoons.
Lost in Space, that was always on when I was a kid on weekends. Lost in repeats.
I didn't get into the Smurfs or the Ponies, Transformers, and Thundercats. I guess that's.
I just watch everything because when you're a kid, you got no choice. You put the channel on, you wait for the show you want, but there's some other bullshit before it, and you just wait for something good.
Absolutely, and because of that, the Saturday morning cartoon show, the seasons of those were only like 5, sometimes 6 episodes long, and they would just play them in perpetuity, over and over and over again. That's because we would channel surf as well. Sometimes if you wanted to watch Super Friends, that conflicted with Batman over here, which was weird because at the time, Challenge of the Super Friends came on at the same time that the Filmation Batman cartoon did.
Yeah.
So you had a choice. You could either watch Challenge of the Super Friends or you could watch Batman. So one week it might be that, but next week it would be that. But if you watched them over and over enough, it would rotate around to where you'd eventually see all the episodes.
That's why I love digital media and Blu-rays. Like I fell asleep 2 nights ago watching the Filmation Batman on Blu-ray. I got for like $10 on Amazon. I was like, yes.
Yeah, and I see what you posted there. And my son grew up with Transformers, Thundercats, He-Man, and the wrestling.
Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
That is the stuff. It didn't like Smurfs or ponies. Okay.
I didn't really like Smurfs, but I'm honestly going to buy there's some cool toys up at the shop, some new ones that are animation style on a 6-pack, and then they've got some little mushroom things. That a cool little cohesive display. They're iconic, like French, Belgian comic shit, but even though I don't love them, it's still cool.
Well, that's the thing there, Johnny. The Smurfs cartoon shows that were played on American television, they were sanitized versions of the Smurfs.
Were they?
Yeah, very sanitized. The Smurfs were originally a comic series.
Yeah, they were Franco-Belgian comic, just like Tintin and the big. They call them graphic albums rather than graphic novels. They're big, oversized books like this, and they're very, very long running.
Yeah, those stories were quite complicated and quite different, if you will, from what became the cartoon shows. And
yeah, like European fairy tales usually more dark than the sanitized Disney stuff.
very much so. The Smurfs comics were much darker than the sanitized cartoons.
I'm gonna read some this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I like fictional TV Hogan. He was a great real life dude. The real life dude, not so much. Yeah. Hulk Hogan was a piece of excrement, I think, in reality, and like
People are on him about being racist and doing this and that. But the thing that actually bugs me is when you hear other wrestlers telling him how he just fucked them over. I'm like, why? Like you're on top, and every guy wants to be on top and make a buck and look after your family. But don't fuck other people over on your way to the top. That's just scummy. That's the thing that bugs me about him.
Cecilia says she has a suggestion for a commercial for you to see. It's from the 1980s. Either pop it in the chat here, or better yet, send me an email, and I will throw that in my next commercial compilation that I do tonight.
If you check your emails too, I sent you that image Rollo did of another different fat Jesus.
Let's check that out real quick. Here we go. Oh, fat Jesus. Yeah, I see that. I did see that earlier. I forgot about that. Thank you for sending that to me, by the way. Let's save that here, and we'll show that to you guys in just a second. And yeah, I saw that image of the Moondogs as well. That's Rex and Spot there. They were the main Moondogs that I remember, Johnny. So let's pop this up, and then I don't know if I can do a screen share and have Don't Be a Sucker up here at the same time. If not, I'll have to take Don't Be a Sucker down for a second. But let me pull this picture up of Fat Jesus. Let's see. It's in here somewhere, I think. Where did I put that? Is it raw videos? Yeah, here we go. Bear with me, folks. All right. Put it in here. Where'd it go? I can't see anymore.
Wonders of technology.
Oh, I know. I swear I put it in here. There he is. All right. Fat Jesus Toy Savior. All right, load up and load a little bit so you can see there. All right, and I'm going to see if I can share that screen. Here we go.
There you go. Rollo will like that.
There we go. Let me get Rollo up. Fat Jesus Toy Savior, believe or die, ignore if furry.
And it's, for anyone who doesn't know, it's the Buddy Smith from the Kevin Smith movie.
Yeah,
But as
it is. That is hilarious, Rollo. That is
like the Buddy Jesus is like little ornament goes on your car dash that shakes around like a bobblehead.
If you don't like the Smurf, down with you 6 feet under, Alcy. Thunder something. Used to watch that show, Rollo. Okay. Show Fat Jesus. We're doing that. Thunder in Paradise. I'm not familiar with that. I may have
It's like Knight Rider, but with Hulk Hogan on a boat.
Okay. I know why I missed that then.
It was like 90s, I think. It's been a while.
Yeah,
it literally is a Knight Rider show format copied. It's a boat and it's Hulk Hogan. It's so over the top and just awful that even as a kid, I knew how fucking awful it was, but it's hilarious to watch some clips.
I might have to look into that, but it sounds abysmal.
It's perfect stuff to get some clips to do some late night stuff. It is so hilarious. Not intentionally, unintentionally hilarious.
Right, and that makes it even more funny. Let's see. Moving on down. I'm trying to catch up on the chat here. I'll smurf you anytime, anywhere. That belt's going to be mine, champ. You'll get gargamel, Johnny.
Yeah.
See, Studio says she first saw the WWF when it was in Texas, and it was a talk show format with Vince McMahon and Lord Alfred Hayes. I do remember that now. That's what you were talking about, wasn't it, Johnny?
Yeah, that was the WWF Tuesday Night Titans. They copied like the Conan O'Brien or Late Show, like CBS, NBC format, and it was fairly lightweight. And it was like, you know how Vince McMahon is just an actor and all that early stuff. He's never a person. He's just an actor. Like, yeah, this is great. What are we doing? Okay, what's next? Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, it's just like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But some of the good stuff, if you look up on YouTube, there's old clips of like Macho Man or fucking Public Radio and other stuff where he's actually himself and not the character. He's fucking Poffo and not Macho Man, and he's actually talking about real life stuff the way we only see now in documentaries and that.
Wow. Okay. I wonder if they got
quite rare and odd, and he's brutally honest when he's talking about stuff.
Are there any clips of that on the old YouTubes?
Yeah, there is. I'll have to look it up again, but that's another good one we could probably play some of on the show another week. Like I could download it for offline and send it to you.
Let's get the entire channel bombed off of YouTube. Let's put all that stuff here.
It should be okay because it was from some kind of like PBS type, but like a radio show, like public access sort of shit. So it probably won't get you like ninja assassinated like that other one did.
Yeah, that one was pretty harsh.
Fucking Sonny Chiba and Lee Van Cleef were just waiting for you to go live and just like cut your fucking head off when that one happened.
I remember the night that happened. We were speculating.
I do too. I was watching it.
We were speculating about why it happened, and we thought that it was from the violence that was in the street fight.
Yeah, it wasn't the violence in fucking Toho or whoever owns the distribution.
Yeah, OBS is concerned about Joneser, so yeah, he already answered you there in the chat, so now you know what he's going through. And I think it was Sue Studio who confirmed a suspicion of mine that indeed there is a pain that a man can feel that is greater than a woman's childbirth pains, and that is the passing of a kidney stone.
Uh-huh.
They showed some of the matches from whatever wrestling was on the show. Yeah. And I remember distinctly Lord Alfred Hayes. He was a hoot.
Yeah, and they had him too in some of those UK live tour shows used to do. But it's like, it's not Alfred Hayes now. We're showing the Hitman versus whoever. And he was always like very like regal and that announcing everything.
One of these days, I've got to show that match between Bill Goldberg and Steven Regal. And when you said the word Regal, it just reminded me of that. That match was quite interesting. I watched that over again because I watched it when it really happened back in the day. But going back with the smarts that I have now, because I was a mark back then, and now I'm what's known as a smart, which is a smart mark.
I haven't heard that. No, you're just a mark for toys.
Yeah, but apparently, Goldberg was greener than the trees, and he only had.
He's still fucking green now. I like him, but come on.
Yeah, he only has like 3 moves, and back then I think he only had 2: the spear and the jacket.
Yeah,
and
he's a tremendous athlete, tremendous physique. I like the real life dude. He's a terrible fucking wrestler. He had this amazing streak, and I take nothing away from what he did. But
the reason they had him in the streak and put him in all the squash matches was because they could not put him on TV because he was so over with the crowd.
Yeah, exactly. It was over the crowd, but he was on a technical level. He didn't know shit. He'd been a football player. He could do a couple of moves, but he didn't know how to not hurt people, and that's the thing that's not good for one.
He couldn't wrestle. So what they would do, they put him in the ring for 3 minutes and let him squash some jobber, and then walk off. And then of course that built the mystique up of him to the point. And then finally he had to wrestle Steven Regal, and Steven Regal, first of all, Goldberg wasn't doing anything in the ring, and it was pissing Regal off because Regal was like, "Do something to me in here. If you don't do something to me, I'm going to do something to you." And he did some of that what the English call catch can wrestling. And that's some real shit, and it hurts, and that's what they used to use back in the carnival days when they would bring in, say, Crusher Hogan, like Spider-Man, pick on anybody in the audience. You can win $50 if you can beat Crusher Hogan. And Crusher Hogan was a hooker. He would hook you, and once he hooked you in one of those catch can moves, you were done for right there, right then and there.
Yeah, you'd be fucked. That'd be like early days UFC if you're rolling up the Hoist Gracie. Thing about jiu-jitsu. He's just going to make a mess of you. You won't be able to move. You can't move your shoulder, elbow, neck, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I sent you a link in the chat there. I found that it said the title is Cable 10 Oldie, Randy Savage Macho Man with Jim Frayel, Fraile. I don't know the guy, but it's like some kind of cable channel. Probably one of the best.
I have almost watched this a couple of times. Cable 10 Oldie.
I've watched it twice. It's so good. I'll watch it again because he's just himself, and he's just shooting the shit on like a public access, whatever the hell it is. And he's just himself. He's Macho Man with the beard, but he's just fucking poffo. He's not really in character, which is very rare for that time.
All right.
And he just talks like a regular guy.
I will put this to the chat. I've generally had that very little success at re-showing YouTube videos on this channel. When I try to share a YouTube video, it generally doesn't play very well at all. But if you want me to, I will attempt to show this. So I'll put that out.
It's quite long, so play it like a clip of it.
Yeah, it's an hour and 3 minutes long. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but we'll watch the first.
Yeah, that's like 5 minutes to give it a taste. And like I've watched it twice, and I'm going to watch it again, or even chuck it as audio so I can listen to it offline on my headphones or whatever. Because it's so good. Like I just love Macho Man so much.
Keep drinking water. He can't drink cranberry juice. He's allergic to the cranberry, so unfortunately he can't do that. But there are other diuretics that he can drink that might get him out of that. Yeah. I've heard that the kidney stone pain is one of the worst pains one can feel.
The channel that's on is Cable 10 Oldie, so it's a pretty low channel, 939 subscribers, 50 videos. I doubt anyone gives a shit about any copyrights or anything on it.
I don't know. The stuff they show on there may be copyrighted. Now, see, here's the thing.
Yeah, only if it's modern WWE Macho Man. Otherwise,
yeah. I found out the hard way, and that was with Shogun Assassin.
Yep.
Even though another channel uploaded this shit, and even though they're not getting dinged for it,
they're not getting it, but you do.
OBS remembers Haystacks Calhoun broke the ring. I never saw him again. Maybe he died. He was way too big. No.
Was that a real ring break or a gimmicked ring break?
That's the thing. A lot of times when the ring ropes break or the ring collapses, that they mean for that to happen. That's already.
I like what. Remember they had like it was like WCW Giant, and he came over to WWE, but I think it was WWE. And he comes up. They cut like a hole a little bit, and he comes up in the middle of the match. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, and a lot of times when they would do some shit like that and cut a trap door in the ring for somebody to appear like that, they would wrestle all night long over that trap door. And
while the guys sitting under there.
Yeah, you could see them trying to avoid where that was, and sometimes they would land there and it wouldn't do right.
I'll tell you what I was listening to this week. There's the old Roddy Piper podcast, which is on YouTube, but I've downloaded the whole playlist so I can listen to it offline. And if anyone wants it, it's on my Google Drive. I'll send you a link. But he talked about one where there was a match where a bunch of guys are hiding under the ring. They've got to come out later. But like an hour later, someone came up and like took a shit under the ring and left and walked away. See you guys, bye. And they had to sit there for like an hour smelling that.
Well, see, the thing is, when you're on the road like that, going to all these different house shows, and you're doing the same show every night, and you're with the same guys every night, they used to do what was called ribs on one another. They would
Yeah,
rib
yeah,
each
yeah.
other. They would do these practical jokes, and the practical
Owen
jokes
Hart
could
knows
get
about that.
quite gross and nasty, like shit in somebody's gym bag while they.
Yeah, I find that a bit too nasty as far as I like practical jokes, and Australia in the workplace loves practical jokes, but the shit in someone's hat or their bag, because you got to get your clothes clean, they're full of stinking sweat, and the next day you're driving, you got to rinse your up in the fucking sink and hang it out overnight, and then it's full of.
Yeah, it could get pretty bad
Yeah.
back in those days, and I don't know if they still do crap like that to each other today or not, but I would imagine it's just as bad now as it ever was.
I imagine there's got to be stuff, but you'd have to be subtle about it so you didn't get fucking sued by someone and like be clever, where it's not physically harmful, but still just fucks with you.
Right. All right, I'm going to try to share this and see how well it plays, but we're not going to play very much of this, and we'll see how it looks. This is Randy Savage, Macho Man, on Cable 10 Oldies with Jim Fraley. That's what that looks like. And,
Offer man.
You have Macho Man Randy on, and I don't know really if I can get him to turn around or not. He's been a little bit contrary here. Macho, can you turn around?
Yeah, I can turn around real easy. I just did.
Turn around. Turn around.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, do you want me to call you Mancho or Randy, or what do you want me to call you?
You can call me anything you want. You can call me Macho Man. You can call me Randy Savage, Macho.
The volume's low. Is it up on your YouTube volume thing?
World Heavyweight Champion, and I'm here on your
Do what now?
program today to hopefully.
I said the volume's low in the video. Is it up on your when you're playing it? Has it got the YouTube volume up?
Cable 10 studio.
My volume is up to how this is also showing you some things on YouTube. It's not very high volume.
Yeah, you're loud, but the video's quiet. It's all right. I just turned my speaker.
Macho, let me ask you this. Start off with, how did you get that name, Macho? Did you make this up, or?
Well, a lot of nicknames are made up by people that are wearing the names themselves. For me, it brings me back to when I was playing professional baseball for the Cincinnati Reds. I was in the minor leagues for the Cincinnati Reds, St. Louis Cardinals, and Chicago White Sox. And back then, I could hit the long ball. I was a good home run hitter. And that was at Al Lang Field in Tampa, Florida. The A-ball team for the Cincinnati Reds. And I had a real good year that year. I led the Florida State League in home runs and RBIs. And when there was pennants out in the...
I'm gonna go ahead and stop that now because I don't want to show the whole thing. But
don't get demonetized or decapitated. But you can see he's just talking about himself. It's just like the Macho Man fucking documentary, but from the guy himself. He's not a character. There's no lawyers in the background go, you got to be the character on TV or any shit.
Right, and the other thing is, that's probably the first time that I've ever seen Macho Man doing an interview where he wasn't Macho Man with that vein.
Yeah. I was really surprised. I loved it because
talking in his normal voice and
normal voice.
Being Randy Poffo at that point, he wasn't being Macho Man.
Yeah, but because he wasn't under someone's contract to say you have to be this or have to be that. I mean, he did the character at like his charity events and stuff for the kids, which makes sense because it's for the kids. You want to sell it, and and it's admirable. He went out and did all that charity work and shit as well.
Absolutely. Now, even though Joneser's not able to be with us for the rest of the show,
he's here in spirit.
He is, and he's probably hanging out in the chat too. You don't know, but he's passing that stone or laying on the couch in pain. But our hearts go out to you, Joneser. But we're going to play "Don't Be a Sucker." We need to learn how not to be got. So let's go ahead and do that and see if we can learn something tonight.
Henry here got on the train with $200.
He couldn't see any harm in a friendly game of cards. What if the other men were strangers? And take Joe Collins. He's got a nice wife at home. But he met this girl at the bar, and she looked after the first couple of drinks.
There are some skips in this, but that's not my fault. That's the shitty video.
Out of the charm that cracks and pops.
Oh, you got rolled in an alley.
There's a good old-fashioned word for people like
free shell game.
We call them suckers. And there are other people. People who stay up nights figuring out how to take away what they've got.
People named Shane McMahon.
There are all kinds of games. Mike here, for instance. He's got everything in me. He's young, he's healthy, got a job. And he's got plenty of food. Big factories to make things a man can use. Big cities to do the business of a big company. And people. Lots of people. Enough to work the farm and build the factories, dig the mines, run the business. All kinds of people. People from different countries with different religions, different colored skins. Free people. They can live together and work together and build America together because they're free. Free to vote, to say what they please, go to their own churches, to pick their own jobs.
And lose their money to a crime man.
Yeah, Mike's got something, all right. He's got America. But there are guys who stay up nights figuring out how to take that away from him.
I happen to know the facts. Now, friends, I'm just an average American. But I'm an American. And some of the things I see in this country of ours make my blood boil. I see people with foreign money. I see Negroes holding jobs that belong to me and you. Now I ask you, if we allow this thing to go on, what's going to become of us real Americans?
I've heard this kind of talk before, but I never expected to hear it in America. This fellow seems to know what he's talking about.
He's accusing him of being a Yahtzee.
You'll find
Well,
it
then,
right here in this
fascist
little
types.
pamphlet. The truth about Negroes and foreigners. The truth about the Catholic Church.
You believe in that kind of talk?
Truth about dumb white privilege assholes from all for years.
We'll never be able to call this country our own until it's a country without.
This is the part where Steve
Without
Rogers
what?
just punches that guy in the
Without
face.
what?
Really?
Without Negroes.
Well, this is an example of the fact that 1950s was there was anti-racism things out there.
What's wrong with the Masons? I'm a Mason. Hey, that fellow's
Don't be
talking
a
about
simple
me.
call for this shit.
And that makes a difference, doesn't it?
These are your enemies. These are the people who are trying to take over our country. Now you know them. You know what they stand for. And it's up to you and me to fight them. Fight them and destroy them before they destroy us.
Really, Johnny, that's what's wrong with America.
Before he said Masons, you were ready to agree with him.
Well, yes, but he was talking about... What about those other people?
But in this country, we have no other people. We are American people.
There you go.
What about you? You aren't American, are you?
I was born in Hungary, but now I am an American citizen. I heard believe
doing that.
I was a professor at the university. I heard the same words we have heard today. But I was a fool then. I thought Nazis were crazy people, stupid fanatics. But unfortunately, it was not so. You see, they knew that they were not strong enough to conquer a unified country. So they split Germany into small groups. They used prejudice as a practical weapon to cripple the nation. Of course, that was not easy to do. They had to work hard to do it. You see, we human beings are not born with prejudices. Always they are made for us. Made by someone who wants something. Remember that when you hear this kind of talk. Somebody's going to get something out of it, and it isn't going to be you. This is not classroom theory. I saw it happen. I saw it first in Berlin in 1932. 5 young men that I knew were standing in the crowd listening to the Nazi speaker. Eric was a Catholic. Anton, a student of mine, was a Jew. Heinrich owned a small hardware store. Karl was a farmer. And Hans was an unemployed metal worker.
To all Bavarian Germans, I say it is time you inherited the nation which rightfully belongs to you. To you alone belongs the glorious destiny of the greater Germany. The Nazi Party will provide land for the farmer, work for the worker, and profits for the small businessman. Who is getting these things now? The Jew. The Jew who has stolen our nation and our birthright. Who makes all the money and takes all our jobs? The Jew! He must be shunned. He must be ostracized. He must be eliminated. And the Catholics. We don't want our great nation run by a foreign church. We Germans will know what to do with these people when the time comes. They and their faith must be destroyed. Then there are the Freemasons.
I'm backing off from
In Germany, we have no place for secret societies. There will be only one society, and that is the Nazi Party. There will be no secrecy about that in the new Greater Germany.
One by one, he attacked each minority and split them off one from the other. These men were all fellow Germans when they came here today. Now they were split into rival groups, suspicious of each other, hating each other. They were being swindled, all of them. But the man who was really being fooled was Hans. He was pure German, according to Nazi standards.
He was a sucker.
To him they promised everything, and he fell for it. That's how Hans became a Superman. They gave him a uniform and they pumped up his ego.
Over, Mitch.
He wasn't just a little fellow out of work anymore. He was a member of the master race. Hans and thousands of others like him, all playing a sucker's game. They gambled with other people's liberty, and of course they lost their own. A nation of suckers. Hitler needed these people. There was lots of work to be done. There were trade unions to be smashed, because unions were organized and might offer resistance. There were many political parties in Germany. These the Nazis destroyed. They were determined to smash every organization where people might band together and resist them. There were Jews to be beaten and killed. The Jews were not powerful, but they were a convenient excuse for all the nation's ills. And besides, a Nazi party member could not take over this man's store. Hundreds of Catholics were put in jail because the Catholic Church had strength and could resist the Nazi drive for power. They had split the nation into 100 pieces, and then one by one, they had destroyed the pieces. Over these broken pieces, the Nazis rode into power. One party, one nation, one religion. These men had won their struggle for power. They now ruled all of Germany. But still they had trouble with their oldest and most persistent enemy, the truth. They found that truth does not die easily, and so they decided to abolish truth. One great source of truth is literature, so they burned books. 20 million.
Yeah, disgusting. And the works of art, except the ones that are stolen and kept for themselves.
Were jailed or driven from their country. Teachers, writers, scientists.
This is happening today. I mean, that's
Education
why
was
everybody's being
discouraged.
split apart.
In 5 years, college attendance dropped 53%. It was forbidden to listen to a British radio program or read an American newspaper. In Nazi Germany, you had to get your information from Dr. Goebbels. He knew what was best for you. The church was one force in Germany still strong enough to proclaim the truth in public. This Catholic priest was arrested the following day on charges of immorality. The Protestant church also continued to try and fight for truth. The Nazis put this man in a concentration camp. There were others who spoke for truth, and I am proud to say that educators were among them.
And what, may I ask, is an Aryan? I don't know myself. But let us see what our present so-called authorities have to say about it. They say he is tall, slender, blue-eyed,
He ain't got blonde hair.
and blonde.
Oh, he's so blonde,
There
man.
is no Aryan race. And more important, there is no master race. There are people who may find these ideas convenient, but science cannot support them. There is no scientific proof that there's any correlation between a man's racial characteristics and his native ability or character. In all racial groups, we find the same range of potentialities. We find idiots and geniuses. We find criminals and philanthropists. We must judge each man as an individual and not by the color of his skin or his eyes or by the length of his nose.
Length of his dick.
Uh-oh.
Come in, gentlemen. It's comfortable.
Oh, thought police are here. Fucking ducking cover.
And remember that there is no master race. That is a scientific truth. Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying.
Oh, slapped him good.
Yeah, time to go.
Don't let truth sound in the way.
And so for all practical purposes, truth had been abolished in Germany. A lot of my German friends wondered what had hit them. How did it happen? Where did it start? It started right here. And this was where it could have been stopped. If those people had stood together, if they had protected each other, they could have resisted the Nazi threat. Together they would have been strong. But once they allowed themselves to be split apart, they were helpless. When that first minority lost out, everybody lost out. They made the mistake of gambling with other people's freedom. Now let's see how those bets paid off. Karl the farmer was gambling on a better life for himself. What he got was extra hours of back-breaking work, as much as 100 hours a week. He was forced to stay on his land and produce what he was told to produce, because now Hitler was preparing for war. For Heinrich, who owned a hardware store, the bet didn't pay off either. 104,000 small businesses were closed in 2 years. And for Hans, conditions hadn't improved any. He had a job now in a munitions factory, but he worked long hours for little pay. The working conditions grew increasingly bad. And even though he didn't like the job, he wasn't permitted to leave it. And when Hitler decided the time was right, Germany went to war. Not by declaring war, but by a carefully prepared sneak attack. Once again, Hitler needed Hans to do his dirty work. Hans was an expert at brutality this time. And Hitler had decided to use Hans and his brutality against other peoples, the Czechs, the Poles, the French, the Russians. But in the crucial test of war, Hitler's race theories didn't pay off. His pure-blooded supermen were defeated by the mongrel armies he despised. By the British at El Alamein. By the Russians at Stalingrad. Then on D-Day by American soldiers of every color and religion, who smashed across the Normandy beaches and drove on through to the heart of Germany. For the misguided Germans who had swallowed the Nazi bait, the Nazi game did not pay off. The continent of Europe was strewn with millions of German bodies, pure Aryan bodies. Karl, the farmer, was left in the snow outside of Moscow. Heinrich stayed in Italy at Salerno. And Hans, who was going to rule the world, got only a little patch of Normandy that he could call his own. We must never let that happen to us or to our country. We must never let ourselves be divided by race or color or religion, because in this country we all belong to minority groups. I was born in Hungary. You are a Mason. These are minorities. And then you belong to other minority groups too. You are a farmer. You have blue eyes. You go to the Methodist Church. Your right to belong to these minorities is a precious thing. You have a right to be what you are and say what you think, because here we have personal freedom. We have liberty. And these are not just fancy words. This is a practical and priceless way of living. But we must work at it. We must guard everyone's liberty, or we can lose our own. If we allow any minority to lose its freedom by persecution or by prejudice, we are threatening our own freedom. And this is not simply an idea. This is good, hard common sense. You see, here in America is not a question whether we tolerate minorities. America is minorities. And that means you and me.
There you go.
So let's not be suckers. We must not allow the freedom or dignity of any man to be threatened by any act or word. Let's be selfish about it. Let's forget about we and they. Let's think about us.
That was quite serious, and there was no party. Well, there was a party in there, but not the kind of party we want to go to whatsoever.
I think there was a disclaimer at the end. Let me show that whole ending real quick here, just to be
Bill
sure.
will not get demonetized.
This bill will not be shown in the current public commission of the War Department. Okay, so this was a propaganda film at the time in the 1950s. However, this flies in the face of everything that we've been told about how horrible it was back in the 50s, that everybody was racist and blah, blah, blah. When in reality, at the time, Americans were pulling together. So maybe it wasn't nearly as bad as we've been told. But I didn't realize that this little thing was going to go into this place. You know, I only watched about the first 5 minutes of it, first few minutes of it, instead of watching the whole thing. But I'm kind of glad I showed that, because it's an eye opener for one thing. But
it's fairly pro-social for a propaganda thing.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, much of what you see happening today is the splitting apart of people, of pitting one man against another over political beliefs, religious beliefs, or skin color. And all that's doing is fixing it so that instead of being united, we're divided. And you know what that means.
It's just dividing people and their artificial barriers. The day you can find me a human being who doesn't breathe, sleep, eat, and shit, then we can have a division. But everything else, it's fucking artificial manufactured bullshit.
Absolutely. And one of our founding fathers, and somebody tell me who it was, because I can't exactly remember who it was, but one of our founding fathers of our nation, during the Revolutionary War, said he's talking about the states, because at the time each state was a separate entity in and of itself. The nation was only beginning to be united. But he said, together we must hang, for if we do not, we will surely hang separately.
Yep. I remember reading that.
Yes, sad as it is indeed it is needed again to show stuff like this. And OBS says the demons would go insane, Susu, and be banned in a minute. Yeah, can you imagine what would happen if someone posted this video on Twitter? Yeah,
have a meltdown.
Twitter or TikTok, yeah, they would be banned. But
I'm so
apparently,
offended.
I'm surprised that I found it on YouTube. To be honest with you, I didn't know what I was looking. I thought it was going to be about how not to get swindled by somebody doing the old shell game, but it kind of veered right on me there and took a zig into some different territory. So I'm kind of glad I showed that. It wasn't necessarily what I thought it was going to be, but hey, good stuff, man.
I like the part where the professor type dude was like, "It's a scientific fact that with differences are bullshit." That's what he's saying in different language.
Well, I was chuckling over here when he was talking about what the idea, Hitler's idea of the perfect Aryan race was. Tall, he shows a short man.
Yeah.
Slender, he shows fat Goring over there. Each one of those people that he showed was somebody high up in the Nazi party. Finally going up to Hitler and saying, and blonde hair and pointing at that black hair that Hitler had, So yeah. Our salty friends are reeing over here in the chat. Ree. It's so true. One has to be able to defend oneself, and I do not talk about guns. I talk about standing your ground, absolutely, and standing your ground against people who want to do these things. When someone is standing up there on the public square talking this crap, if you noticed, a lot of the people there in the crowd just kind of did like that and turned around, walked off from him, and that was a good thing. Yeah.
If you're working at a job and then like, by the way, we're making ovens to put people in them, leave that fucking job.
Exactly. And what happened there, I think, was a slow burn as well. By the time people realized what had happened,
what was going on? It's fairly insidious. It's like a slow creep because there's, a society or a country. There's all sorts of things going on at the same time. You can't see the big picture, and even the guy at the top, who's fucking debatably mentally fucking ill, who's running the country, he doesn't know the big picture because he's not there firsthand at the goddamn secret prison camps. He's not there firsthand witnessing the goddamn railroads that are being built from American goddamn materials because they had contracts, legal contracts with all materials to bring the shit in to kill fucking Americans with American goddamn materials because there were no embargoes back then to stop them doing shit like that.
Oh yeah, and many American corporations it's been found were dealing with them at the time.
Well, the war machine, the massive fucking profits, which was just business until they're like, by the way, we're killing your fucking
why
soldiers.
Why not double the money? We'll sell to both sides and we'll get their money and their money. And line up our pockets because that's all they were worried about was making some more money.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I've got one more commercial break to do. We'll do that. We'll catch our breath a little bit and we'll be back in just a minute. So enjoy, folks. Be right back.
My baloney has a first name. It's O-S-C-A-R. My baloney has a second name. It's M-A-Y-E-R. Oh, I love to eat it every day. And if you ask me why, I'll say, 'cause Oscar Mayer has a way with B-O-L-O-G-N-A.
Oscar Mayer, the first name in Bologna.
How's that?
I'd like to buy the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves. I like to teach the world to sing. Sing with me. Perfect harmony. Perfect harmony. I like to buy the world a coat and keep it company. That's the real thing. I like to teach the world to sing. In perfect harmony. Perfectly. And I'd like to buy the world a coat and keep it company. It's the real thing. What the world wants today.
He's been kidnapped by Cobra. We have no alternative. Call in G.I. Joe.
Fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. He never gives up. He'll stay till the fight's won. G.I.
Who's leader of the Joe team? Hawk.
He's America's best. He's in control. He's the man.
Good luck, Joe.
He lives his days with the legend of G.I. Joe.
The Legend of G.I. Joe. New from Marvel Comics.
Campbell's in the cupboards like money in the bank.
My kids love Campbell's vegetable soup. It's a good way to help fill them up, and the price is right.
Campbell's in the cupboards like money in the bank.
I found a luscious lemon chicken recipe on a can of Campbell's cream of chicken soup. The dish is inexpensive and delicious.
When it comes to saving, it's with Campbell's you can thank. Campbell's in the cupboards like money in the bank.
Mamma mia, that's some beast. Cut spicy meatballs, Jack. Sorry. Take 28. Out, Tony, and action. Mamma mia, that's a spicy meatball. Cut. What was the matter with that? The accent. Huh. Cut. Cut. Micey, micey, bossy, ballsy. Cut. Take 59. And action.
Sometimes you eat more than you should. And when it's spicy besides, Mamma Mia, do you need Alka-Seltzer? Alka-Seltzer can help unstuff you, relieve the acid indigestion, and help make you your old self again.
Mamma mia, that's a spicy meatball. Cut. Okay, let's break for lunch.
WMC TV, Channel 5, Memphis.
Yeah, there we go. I saw a comment about the G.I. Joe comic book commercial. The comic book commercial was just as much a commercial for the toys as it was the comic book. And
yeah, well, the comic book, the thing was a workaround from Hasbro they did for G.I. Joe and Transformers, where because of the Ronald Reagan toy laws, TV advertising bullshit, they couldn't advertise the toys. So they made the Marvel comic ad, and they've got the script where they pitched it to the executives. Are like, we can advertise this fucking comic on TV, but we can't advertise the toys. And they're like, do it.
See, OBS member buried all of those commercials. Yeah, I tried to pick some iconic commercials from back in the day to try to bring back some memories, like the Tootsie Roll commercial. I did the Tootsie Pop commercial, I think, the other day, and I thought the follow-up to that had to be everything I think I see becomes a Tootsie Roll to me. So I got that. It's good.
I sent you a couple of stupid images while it was going, because I had one I made a while back. They had that "Where's the Beef Lady," where I just changed something that was in the image.
Her name
kind of fun.
was Clark. All right, here we go. Let me put those down here in the.
I love that. Where's the Beef Lady? Hilarious.
Yeah, her name was Clara Barton. Yeah, here we go. Let's save that, and I've got those images now, and hopefully we can take a look at those. Let's see if we can bring those up. First, I got to go over here to the folder I put them in and see if I can find them. As I scroll down looking.
Finding files is half the battle.
It is.
I probably go through like at least 200 files a week in the shit. I'm looking up and downloading, like I delete stuff and save stuff, organize stuff, and it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare of files.
It is a nightmare, and no matter what you try to do, it always becomes a chore. No matter what you do,
it does. I try and use systems like my IT teacher taught me like 20 years ago in high school, like organize things, put them in folders, give them meaningful file names that you can find. And on all the Windows, I could find shit. On the newer Windows, it doesn't let you find goddamn nothing. So that's a G1 blaster. It's not done well, but I just had the idea. Where's the beef? Where's the beat? Just like listen to the
Well,
music.
when it comes to memes, the stupider the better, right?
Yeah. Well, I was when I made that stupid image, and I don't have Photoshop. I can't afford it. Some shit free program, why it looks awful. I was listening to like LL Cool J albums and stuff. That's why I was thinking of it.
Now, if I can find the other image, which was named something entirely different.
Yeah, some random. I didn't name that. It was random name. The internet gave it like a bunch of stupid letters.
I know, and I'm going up through here to see if I can find it in here where I saved it. Well, fiddly dee. See if it's saved in there. Okay, it starts with an I, IN8. All right. Let me go back over here and see if I can find it. Hang on.
Yeah, I shouldn't have sent 2 emails because I attached them both in one, and one was in the other.
I noticed that. There it is.
That's what from my brain. It's fucking leaps ahead, moments into the future. Like they gotta catch up with what's going on.
I love how the meme makers always get their images off of Getty Images. I don't know what that's all about.
Getty Images owns everything now. Even like people who are in the goddamn images have to pay for their own photos. Like I don't know how they got the
that ain't
like
fair,
scam going on there.
is it? Here we go.
There he is, LL Cool J with the blaster and Soundwave. Because in the actual album cover, he's got one of those 80s ghetto blasters, and it's a popular meme where someone's put in the Transformers Soundwave on that.
Yeah, there we go. So
it's a meme
pretty
within
cool
a meme.
images there. OBS was singing along to the jingles and the commercials.
Yeah.
Do commercials even have jingles anymore? The only commercials that
No, it's a whole different world of business and advertising now. It's just nonsense. You don't get jingles.
Well, one of the signs of a really bad commercial is a commercial in which you don't realize what they're selling.
Yeah, that it's called the short film, or it's like overly arty, and you might watch it as a short before a real film, but you know what the hell it's on about. It's European and just goes over your head.
Yeah, and now the Alka-Seltzer commercial that was shown where it's a spicy meatball, that one was a failure commercial because everybody.
Yeah, I remember showing that on like the TV's bloopers and practical jokes or something like that would show like that behind the scenes stuff.
Well, the commercial was meant to be he had to take so many takes, so he had to eat that meatball so many times that he got indigestion and had to take Alka-Seltzer for it. But 99% of anybody who was asked what the commercial was selling thought that they were selling meatballs.
Yeah, meatballs or pasta sauce, not the Alka-Seltzer, because that's what you're seeing, and your brain looks at the picture on the screen, not at what the audio is saying. It remembers the mental picture.
Mm-hmm. It's just straight in your face, and you don't need to buy. But the thing about the arty commercials, I mean, my wife and I used to do that back when we were actually watching broadcast TV a lot with the commercial television. The commercial would come on, and after it was over with, I would turn to my wife and I would go, "What were they selling in that commercial?" And she would go, "I don't know." And I would think to myself, "That's a failure commercial. It didn't sell the product to me."
Yeah, there's a lot like that, and you can follow like filmmaking or film shorts and see how it infected TV advertising, and they made these really arty stuff that doesn't sell the goddamn product. The effective ones have like big, stupid, bright colors, annoying sounds that you remember, and here's the goddamn product 5 times in 10 seconds.
I always liked those where you had to send off to get it commercials.
Yeah.
Call now. I mean, get some urgency in it, first callers within the first 5 minutes get this free item.
Get a Hogan in a bin.
Yeah, how do they know? Now, that brings me to a good point. When you showed Hogan in the garbage can, Rolo.
What he's saying is career's garbage. That's not very nice, Bill. It's propaganda.
Rolo paid to see Hogan get slimed, so I'm going to give you the full.
Yeah. So he gave it. There was a tip earlier, wasn't there? So that I think that qualifies, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
So let's now. The question is, I have to ask Rolo who is going to do the sliming. Will it be Eddie Guerrero, Hero of Mexico, champion, or will it be the Macho Man? So Rollo's going to tell us who wants to slime Hogan.
All right. And we have Jimbo under the name of Sigma here in the chat. Order 3
Is that Grindhead Jim or some other Jim?
And Masters for Maniac Mexico is answering Macho Man.
All right.
Oh, yeah, that Hogan's going to get his comeuppance. He's been messing with Miss Elizabeth. He's going to get what's coming to him.
You got overruled there, Studio.
Gotta give it to Rollo. Now, thinking I might angle this camera down so we can see it better. There we go. There we go.
Oh, all right.
Turn around. Who gave you that hat, fool? You're gonna get slimed, fool! You're gonna slime, sucker! Doesn't want to come out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there we go. Get that stuff.
That's
out
what we're thinking. That's pukemania.
Ugh. OBS wants to know, were Elizabeth and Macho Man really married? Yes, I believe they were.
They were, but then they were on the outs, and later in the 90s, they went their separate ways. She got hooked on drugs and shacked up with Lex Luger.
And that's where she met her demise.
That's the Puffer way, fool. Don't mess with the Puffles. It's very slow.
All right, there you go.
There's your career in the trash. And the elbow drop.
There you go. You know, I went on a toy hunt recently, and we saw.
What'd you find?
Yeah, we saw that. I didn't buy it, but we saw that the newest Hogan figure that they had on the shelf there at Walmart with the crazy eyes.
Crazy eyes.
I mean, look.
Is that where he's got that weird like Spartan helmet thing, or which one was it?
He's just his eyes look crazy. It's in the
crazy
eyes. On the toy hunt video, you know, Paul sits there and was looking at him, and I said, "Oh, you got a Hogan over there." I said, "Don't he look crazy out of the eyes?"
Crazy eyes, Hogan.
How they
like
painted
he's
his
in the
eyes.
back alley doing drugs or something.
Yeah, I mean, he's sitting there with this look on his face like this, and you can see all the whites of his eyes around his eyeballs. And let's see, Cecilia Piper just made sense since they were always enemies.
Yeah, Piper's the best, man. Stuff. I mean, fuck Hogan.
No one slime Eddie with my poor sense. All right. And you should have used actual barfs as some studio.
I'll need a few more of these to get that going.
Well, yeah. And good to see you there, Jimbo. Good to see you. I remember Jimbo from the channel he's talking about. I don't know if that channel is defunct or not, but it's been off the air now for almost 2 months. I don't know what he's doing, regrouping or deciding how he's going to rebrand it again. I don't know, but we will see.
So, what was the channel?
We don't talk that. We don't speak his name over here.
Oh, we don't speak his name. He who shall not be named.
That's exactly what we call him. Let's see. I never got a Hogan figure, but I have a John Morrison figure.
I don't understand that John Morrison character. Like, I watched his 70s, 80s wrestling, sometimes 70s wrestling. Now and then, I'll indulge myself in some modern wrestling where it's all PC and shit. I don't mind some of the characters, but like I'm an old school fan of the Doors, and I've watched the match, and I'm like, are they just using the name because it's similar to Jim Morrison, who would also wear extravagant, weird coats and be shirtless and shit? I just couldn't figure the character out. It just seemed very transparent.
Yeah,
it's not a knock on the wrestler. I'd have to watch his matches to judge his skills. I just couldn't work out what the fuck the character was.
You know what his gimmick was eluding you. In other words.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're got at the 2-hour mark, a little past it. So,
where's them birds?
What that means. Time to feed those ducks. It was good to have everyone here. I hope Joneser gets to feeling better, and I'm glad you showed up there, yourself. Johnny. We appreciate you coming in tonight.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you, sir. And I thank you to everyone who stayed with me all the way. And thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you to those who have tipped me. I appreciate the tips. That means Studio and Rolo. Thank you to all the Patreons who have kept this show going. And we don't say goodbye around here. We say good journey. And that means it's time to say we'll see you next time and have a great journey. Special thanks to the channel supporters. Without your help, these adventures would not be possible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's adventure, please hit like, subscribe, and share the video.